And we are live. Sketch Zone Podcast is on the air. I am Carlos Gomez, and with us this week we have this really cool illustrator with just mean talents. We're going to talk to him about it. He's from Buenos Aires, where apparently it's wintertime. His name is Federico Bonifacio. Hi, Federico.
¿Cómo va? How are you?
¿Me va bien? ¿Y tú?
I'm very well, thanks.
Excellent. And that guy over there, the trusty Charlie B. Williams III.
Hello, everyone. I'm back.
Hello.
Hello, Federico. Thanks for coming on. Jack,
Thanks.
you look amazing this week.
Just so you know, Federico, there's probably going to be a bunch of people watching the show. So when people are talking just about whatever, they might be talking to the audience. And a lot of times the audience will send us messages and stuff during the show.
They'll harass us.
So yeah. So if it sounds like we're a little bit crazy, it might be that, but it might also be that someone is interacting with us online.
Okay.
That's Jack Kasperzak.
Yes, it is. Hello. Glad
How's
to be
it
back.
going, fellas? How's your week?
Oh, it's busy. We got the holiday coming up.
Big holiday.
Yeah.
Relaxing weekend, hopefully.
Happy birthday, USA.
Mm-hmm. It's coming.
And to celebrate, we went ahead and announced the Sketch Zone hotline. You can text or call us at 408-753-8248. That's 408-SKETCH-8. So if you have any questions for Federico, please let us know. Or if you have any questions for anyone on the show, actually.
Yeah.
So there's that. One of the neat things that's happening, or that's kind of about to happen, that did kind of start happening. I think our buddy Dave A.A actually went through and binged watched the entire library of Sketch Zone episodes, and he's learned that he's like pre-announcing his Kickstarter.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he's been pre-announcing his Kickstarter for the past handful of weeks. And if you remember when we were talking to Sketch Wallet, Ralph Thomas, he actually, that was one of the things that he pointed to say, I think that he pointed at as a very important reason why he was successful in his Kickstarter efforts was because he had a mailing list and everything. He already had kind of a fan base, and then he started like sending out the like floating little informational things. Anyway, so all that to say, our buddy Dave A.A is out there, and he's about to launch a Kickstarter next week, I believe, Tuesday. So be on the lookout for that. Federico, have you ever done any Kickstarters or kicked into any Kickstarters or anything?
I don't even know what that's it mean. I'm sorry.
No? Oh no worries. I was wondering if you guys had that. So Kickstarter here in the USA, and they've branched out to like Australia. I think they're in Europe now too.
Europe, yeah.
Obviously Canada. So what it is if you are a creator, an inventor, comic book guy, a movie guy, anything like that, if you have a project that you need funding for, you go to Kickstarter.com and you do your pitch, and if people like your idea, they can then send you money to help your idea be created, right?
You usually have like 30 days in order for your. Is it 30? Right?
It depends on what you want to do.
You have so much time in order to raise that money, and if you raise that money or meet your goal, either on the last day, the 30 days, 90 days, whatever it is, then you get it. And you get the money. If you don't, you don't. So you have to meet your goal, and then if you meet past your goal, and then there's people make different stretch goals and different extra incentives because they went past their goal. You know, they just keep giving their backers more and more, you know, things because they keep supporting them. So it's pretty cool.
Claro.
A lot of different game projects, comic books, art books, animations.
And what's
even
neat,
inventions.
now is if you have created or if you funded a film through Kickstarter, they actually have a Kickstarter film festival, and they travel around showing all these films that were made through Kickstarter, which is really
Claro,
neat.
está bueno.
Yeah, yeah,
Pretty cool, yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now that I know that Argentina probably doesn't have Kickstarter, and Federico, if you have a really good idea, we will kickstart it here in America for you.
Okay.
And
Personally.
you send it to us, we'll get it done,
Okay.
and then we'll give you your 20% of the profit.
That's too low.
All
like
right.
it is.
All right,
Tell it like it is.
22%.
Don't listen to them.
So yeah, be on the lookout for that. I wanted to get
For scam artists?
for scam artists. No, be on the lookout for Dave Atsey and his Kickstarter efforts. I wanted to have him on the show to come and watch him be nervous, because I think it would be fun. All he ever does is sit back and giggle anyway. Could you imagine if he was like super nervous and had the pressures of Kickstarter on him?
Yeah. You gotta have him on. You gotta have him on like right in the middle of it. You know, that's like that best sweet spot. Like where he's not sure if it's gonna.
No, but the thing with Dave is he's such a nice guy. He's probably going to be funded like super fast, and so I want him before he's funded.
Yeah.
So it has to be like in the next week, or in the first week or so, you know.
Yeah.
Because it'd be funny to watch him biting his nails and stuff. Let's see. There's so many things that happened, Federico. We're gonna get to you, and all of this stuff is really cool and really fascinating because it has a lot to do with what you do for a living. Do you use Adobe products at all?
You mean which program do I use?
Yeah.
I work with Illustrator or Photoshop.
Illustrator, Photoshop.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Are you on the Creative Cloud, or are you on like CS5 or?
I don't know what. I mean, I prefer using Illustrator. I feel more comfortable.
Yeah. So Adobe has this thing called Creative Cloud, where it's a membership, and you basically pay $50 a month, and whenever they have new updates, they just send you the updates automatically.
No, I didn't know about that.
No. Okay. So
Actually, I work with Illustrator with a very old program.
Yeah. And
with the CS3, you know.
Whoa!
It still works.
Oh.
It still works. Yeah. No. I mean, I use a new version, but I always prefer the CS3.
The CS3, yeah.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that do that. They use older versions because I wanted to wait to talk about this, but right now it seems like it's a perfect time. So Adobe is coming out with new features and new things that you can do with Photoshop and Illustrator and all this stuff. How much more can software take us?
You can always go farther.
How? If you're an illustrator, how? How can?
I think.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Federico.
No, sorry. No, I think that, well, in my case, some updates of, for example, Illustrator, I think it doesn't work for me. So that's the reason I prefer using the old version.
Yeah. Makes sense.
But I should be more. I should be uh, more alert with the new versions.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Yeah,
Pero,
but we're gonna take a look at your work here in a little bit, and people are gonna be surprised at what you can do. There's a lot of people out there that think that it's the technology that's holding them back from being completely successful. And guys like you are proof that you don't need the latest and greatest. You just need talent.
no. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I don't know. I think you can go to the same results using different programs,
Yeah.
and I don't know how. ¿Qué más decir?
Dilo en español y yo lo digo en inglés.
En inglés.
Yeah.
No, I have some knowledge, but I'm not expert in using all the last programs.
Mm-hmm.
Pero I feel comfortable working with the old version.
Right. Right. Jack, do you how much farther can they take Illustrator? I mean, and Photoshop pretty much has absolutely everything and then some, which I'm not going to lie, there are a couple really cool things that they added that we'll talk about in a minute. But how much further can they take software?
Yeah, I mean, technology is like funny. Sometimes they come up with stuff that we didn't even know we wanted or needed until it existed. But I do think that they're kind of hitting like a plateau, at least with like illustration and drawing tools, just because every new program or iteration mimicking it that comes out is essentially the same set of tools, just kind of arranged in a different way or accessible in a different set of ways. And that's like also reinforced by the fact that Photoshop's now branching off into, well, Illustrator as well, branching into like 3D and like animation, and it's kind of indicative, kind of pointing to the fact that they may have run out of ideas for purely illustration or illustration and painting and 2D sort of needs. So I don't know how much further they can go with those specific needs, but you get, like Charlie said, you can always push software further, and I think they're clearly going to keep growing it. It just may not necessarily be anything beneficial to, say, an Illustrator.
I think they need to stop. I think they need to start talking to the community a little bit more, because I really think they could push Photoshop's painting abilities further than what they do. Like, I don't really want 3D in Photoshop. I want Photoshop to rival Painter. And be Photoshop. I don't want these satellite programs, which are fine, like Clip Studio. All these programs, Sketchbook Pro, all these programs are great, right? But fundamentally, Photoshop has been the leader in terms of illustration and painting and stuff like that. More people use it, but you have that niche people that like Painter because of the way you can mix oils and paint. I want you to dive into that, because that's where I feel the bread and butter should be. And I don't think people do it. I think some programs do it, but people don't. And a lot of illustrators buy all these other. You guys have talked about other programs on this show. These other niche programs that do really, really good, like the Infinite Canvas and all this other stuff. Adobe, you're the leader. You should have that in. Take a notion from some of the other 3D programs. They don't mind grabbing that outskirt plugin creator and then just integrated it into the main fold, because that's what we need to do. But I want to be able to mix paints and stuff like that, so you solidify the Photoshop as the one-stop shop. I don't know, what do you guys think about that? I think they do everything else except illustration sometimes with Photoshop.
I kind of wish that they would stop adding things to Photoshop and perfect the things that and maybe have Photoshop Paint, Photoshop 3D, Photoshop Video, or whatever. At what point do you stop adding to Photoshop?
Right. Because, like, in terms of painting and stuff like that, how much different really is it now? They started doing the new brush engine, right? That was a couple years ago now. and they start having all those different features with the brush and the new like, you know, interactive like view when you can like see if you have a tablet, you can see the brush tilting and stuff the way it is. But like I feel like some of those other programs that we've had, some other illustrators we've had on the show, Mike Henry and a bunch of other ones, are doing really really amazing things with like, you know, the iPad, you know, the Apple Pencil and all that stuff. Why can't Photoshop work with Adobe, work with Apple, you know, and make, you know, the pencil accessible, if with working with the program better, you know, or something, and taking.
I tell you what, though, I was playing with the Adobe, the mobile apps. There's Adobe, what is it? Adobe Draw and Adobe Sketch or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you here in a second. But the integration, yeah, Adobe Draw and Adobe Sketch. So Adobe Sketch is more like mobile Photoshop, and Adobe Draw is mobile Illustrator.
Okay.
And I wish it was a little bit more robust, but I mean, as far as a good start, wow. And the integration that they have, so let me see if I can pull this guy up. Okay, you need to spin. Ooh, I'm undoing, I'm not spinning. Anyway, let me see if that... So I did that in Adobe Draw, and then I took that and I clicked the little share button, and I said send to Illustrator, and like 3 seconds later, I had Illustrator open on my computer. 3 seconds later, it sent it to Illustrator, and I was able to finish up the drawing in Illustrator.
Oh, it's connected with your Illustrator. That's cool.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So the connectivity is so amazing.
Yeah.
And then, you know, there's other little apps that you can create Photoshop brushes or brushes for probably Illustrator too. But you can do all these really cool things on the iPad, and I bet you what's going to happen is, because it seems like Adobe's kind of pushing a lot of their chips towards mobile.
It seems like it. I don't understand why, but yeah, I guess being able to work on the train and as you go in and have it fit to your home workstation or back at the office. Okay, I guess it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even, and now that I was about to go to him, I was going to say Jack he also has an iPad Pro, and he randomly sends me messages talking about how much he loves it.
Oh, really? Okay. So it's really working out for you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, Jack, you've gotten pretty creative on your iPad, huh?
Yeah, and I that's what it seems like Adobe's doing, and I think I would like that to happen. It seems like mobile is kind of where they're headed, and I could see, like we were talking about before, where Photoshop seems to be getting a little bloated. It seems like they're prepping to kind of break everything out again, like it once was, and you know, each program does its thing really well, and it's simple. But I think they moved away from that because they hadn't really figured out the connectivity yet, and so they started adding things together so people didn't have to have so many programs and switch so many programs. But now that like mobile is like syncing with desktops, syncing with phones, and all that stuff so seamlessly, I think they're slowly realizing that they can go back to just making applications and programs that work really well at their one thing. And I kind of like that because I think that's also like why Mike Henry and a lot of folks like the apps on the iPad, because they're so simple and they just do what you want them to do, and they're not bogged down with a bunch of extra buttons on the the UI. And I hope that's what they do, because I kind of like that. I like how simple. And to be honest, like the learning curve on Procreate is almost nothing. I mean, you can watch it. You can watch a 15-minute YouTube video and know everything there is to know about it, and it's all pretty amazing. Like everything it does is pretty cool. They've just pulled out the coolest stuff and pared it down. It's not a video editing program. It's not a 3D modeling program. It doesn't. If you want that, you go get the other app. And so, I hope that's kind of where Photoshop and Adobe in general is going.
There is one thing I wanted to talk to you about Procreate. There's just one thing, and I can't remember what it is, but there's one thing that's seriously lacking that's on Procreate that would make it absolutely phenomenal. I can't remember what it is, so we're gonna. Procreate is perfect. I can't remember what that was though. I think I tweeted about it, so as the conversation goes, I'm gonna try to figure it out. But one of the cool things that not Adobe, but Photoshop does now, and I've used it more than a lot of the big heavy-duty stuff that they have in Photoshop. If you have a picture of, say, a sign or a logo or something,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to figure out what font that is,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
you can. I don't know if you have to do this, but I know I do. Like I'll write out the word that I want to be showing, and
Yeah.
then I get the marquee tool and I draw a box around the word whose font I'm trying to figure out what it is. You go up to text, font, what is it? Font recognition, I think it is.
Oh wow. Nice.
And then it goes and it
Oh, I
looks
didn't know
through
that.
it looks through your library to see if you have any fonts that match that font. And if you don't, it'll go to what is that? Text. Their font
Oh
family.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I forget what they're. But it'll go through there too, and pull out any ones that are similar to that. And then you can like click and have it download to Photoshop, and then you can use the font that you just got done recognizing.
That's awesome.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Like a
I did that.
Shazam, font Shazam.
Yeah. Because before what you would have to do is you take that image, load it up to whatthefont.com, and then you have to like what the font would then break up the shapes, and then you would have to say what letter is which letter, and then it would give you their best guess too. Now this is built in to Photoshop, which is completely amazing.
That's awesome.
Federico, do you work in
Yes.
Photoshop?
Yes, but I prefer
Photoshop
Illustrator.
to oh.
No. No, no. Most of my work is done in Illustrator.
Yeah, that's cool. And obviously you are you're a professional illustrator. You're doing it. You started your own company.
My own company. What is that? You mean by because you are talking about Oku?
Oh, cool.
Or,
Yeah.
yes. Well, I mean, Oku is like a brand, but I mean, I don't know if I should say a company
Oh, okay.
because it's very recently, and I did it because more because like a personal project, but I never thought about like a company.
Yeah. Okay, so it's more like
Mm.
you do a lot of illustrations, but Oku is more like just your kid.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the thing is, I always admire those illustrators who have their own style. So in some way I wanted to create just a style under a name. So that's why I created.
That's fantastic. So we're gonna, if you're listening on iTunes, I just switched over so we can take a look at his work.
Let's see it.
And talk to us about the way you think about or what you're thinking about when you're creating your artwork.
Well, it depends. When I when I work with a client, most of the times they give me what they want, so I have some points where I can start. But when I work in personal projects, I used to write, to take notes every day or sometimes about ideas that I would like to work in the future. So that's how I work.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Your work is very cool, like this
Thanks.
Rockstar and Milk. It's like, okay, that's interesting. That's very cool. Have you always been an artist? Have you always drawn?
Yes, I used to draw when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Is that when you started?
Well, when I finished high school, I wanted to work. I wanted to study acting,
Oh.
so it wasn't in my plan to be illustrator. So I couldn't get into the acting school. So maybe because I was very bad
Were you
acting.
horrible? Yeah.
The thing is, I studied cinema.
Yeah.
So then after finish cinema, I studied acting, but with different actors from here. And then, well, I made also clown and yes, that.
You.
And
So hang on. You were a clown.
what?
You were a clown. You studied to be a clown.
No, 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 no. No,
Oh.
no, I studied just like a seminary, seminary, no sé cómo se dice en inglés.
Seminars?
But well, the thing is, like in 2008, 2009, I decided to start working in illustration.
Cool.
And what was the reason you decided? What finally made you pick the pencil back up again?
Couldn't
Well,
find a
because
job.
well, because
Dime la verdad. Dime la verdad.
Dime la verdad. Well, the thing is, I was studying a lot, you know, and I'm pretty old right now. I'm almost 33 years old. So I start working very late, like 26 years old. I've been studying all my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, one day I thought, well, I should start working. And
Was that you, or was that your parents that told you you needed to start working?
yeah, all the family and
All the family.
yes.
Even my little cousins were
It was
telling me.
an intervention.
So well, I thought about working because my father is a lawyer, so I never wanted to study lawyer, no?
Yeah, that's very smart.
So, yes.
You're a smart young man.
So yes, so well, I started drawing by myself, and well, my sister she's a graphic designer, so she taught me some about Illustrator.
Okay.
So
she's older than you are?
yes,
Oh, cool. So
2 years old, more
Okay.
older.
Okay.
Yes.
So she's kind of like a coach to you.
Yeah, she was. She doesn't have too much patience, but she was.
So she gave you
she
Illustrator
tried.
and she started hitting you with a stick.
Yes.
You said yes.
Yes.
Yes. So well, then in 2009, I was sending curriculum CVs. I don't know in English how do you say. So I started working in a company, in a game company from here called Metrogames.
Metrogames,
And Yes,
Yeah.
I worked for that company almost 2 years and a half, something like that.
Oh, cool.
Yes. Then the company closed in 2012. So I continue working by myself,
Oh, cool.
freelance.
Sure.
I like this.
Uh,
This Wally's food one is really cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's right.
So based on your freelance, what did you find that type of work do you get the most? Is it like just straight illustration? Is it you know greeting card work? What kind of illustration work do you get the most from your freelance?
Well, I work in games, in games, but also in children's books, but not too much. But I mean, I did like stickers pack for applications like Line, Link,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and I work also in character design for products.
Oh, cool.
Um,
Yeah. What do you do for
um,
games? Is it just
yeah,
like more like mobile games and like
in Metrogames, yeah, they were like social games for
like,
Facebook
mm-hmm.
and also for iPhone applications, mobile games.
And
Mm-hmm.
you draw everything by hand first?
What?
You
Sorry.
draw everything by hand first and pen.
Uh, in Metrogames, I used to
Yeah.
work directly in Illustrator.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Y ahora tú dibujas todo en el papel primero, ¿verdad? So,
Uh, no, I prefer working directly in Illustrator,
oh, okay, cool.
but sometimes I do some sketch
Cool.
because client asked me.
Yeah.
Very cool. Because I like what you do here, where you have the final, and then you give us the
Yeah.
paper drawing. I
Drawing.
think that is
Huh.
absolutely fantastic. And stuff
Thanks.
like that, that's probably going to keep you busy. And
Yeah.
I will probably steal that idea.
It's always good to see the original sketch, and then
Yeah.
you do with. I'm assuming it's a lot of pen tool work in Illustrator, right?
Well, for me, the sketch part, I mean, is essential, but it's kind of annoying sometimes because
Yeah, you want to start. Yeah.
because I like to work in sketch, but more for me, like rough sketch. Uh, I because when I go to the color, sometimes most of the times I have different new ideas, so it doesn't end like in the beginning of the sketch.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I prefer not sending clients sketch because
Yeah.
they won't receive the
Yeah.
And a lot of times, if you send a client a sketch, they think that that's what it's going to be. And it doesn't matter how
yes.
many times you say, this is just a sketch. It's
Yeah.
not going to be the
Yeah.
final. And then you say,
Yes.
you can say it 3 and 4 times. And then when you send them the sketch, they say, oh, it's going to look like this. I thought it was going to be.
No, or sometimes they like the sketch, which I think is horrible,
Oh no. Yeah.
and
And
I
then the
say no,
that's fine.
I don't. That's the sketch, but it has a lot of mistakes. So
Yeah, that's happened to me too. I drew just like a really rough sketch, right? And I brought it into Illustrator or something. No, not even. I just did a really rough sketch and I sent it. And they said, "We love it." And they bought it. And I was like,
Okay.
That was it.
"We're done? Okay." This is perfect. You read our minds. Okay. So this question is for everyone. How much does, because we were talking about how Federico has the rough sketches and stuff on these pages, right? And now that I'm talking about it, I can't find one. when you're trying to find work, besides the cool factor that this has,
Mm-hmm.
as the person that's about to buy his skills, how much does this truly matter?
I think at the end of the day, it doesn't, as long as they can provide what you think they're hiring them for. However, that's a huge risk on the client side.
Yeah.
And what this does is it shows that he's got the foundation, or that and that it shows the construction history, and even more importantly, that it's not just something ripped off, or it's not just something that he copied from something else online. Like we see the original thought, we see the progress. And I think that's true even in not just freelance and illustration, but kind of anything. Like when you're looking at demo reels, or you're looking at portfolios, it's like you see this stuff and you have no idea how long the person spent on this or what was involved. I mean, obviously you put your best work in your portfolio, but it's a little bit of a trick for the client, right? Because they don't really know anything about you besides this final polished thing that you're presenting. And this is like a really good way to show. And I mean, even the sketches are cool. Like it's not that they're not good or not finished work. It's just it's like a cool way to effectively show that not only is my finished work good, I actually know how to get there, and this is actually my work, and I know my basics, which I think a lot of people get fooled into. Like people struggle with that.
For example, this dog drawing, I think it's totally adorable. And I like it because as an artist, I love to see pencil drawings and, going way back and seeing the technique and the little mishaps over by the nose and stuff. But that doesn't even come close to how cool this Guten Morgen with the pink background and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's an amazing piece.
I don't think so.
He's like, you're wrong.
Oh.
No, I like it a lot. So let's see what else we have here. This guy was really funny. So Federico, I know
Yeah.
here in the States, when they're always trying to save money, and they're always trying to cut programs in schools and stuff like that. So the first things that they always cut are, gym class and art class.
Gym class.
Yeah. So we have a bunch of non-creative, chubby kids running around.
Oh, gosh.
What's it like for an artist in Buenos Aires?
How does it cost, like starting here?
No. Like, what is life like? Does Argentina take pride in their artists, or do they just not care?
I guess it's like everywhere, but I don't know. But no, they care. But I mean, when you say that you're going to work as an artist or in some, like an actor or something like that, they think that you're going to be poor. Poor? It's okay.
Right.
They know you're gonna be poor.
So, but the thing is, people who work on this, I guess they do it because they like it, and not because if others care. Not like that. But I mean, do you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if people care here or not. I don't know how to respond. No sé cómo responder.
Okay. No, está bien.
What do you mean? I mean,
No, like in the USA, people like art, but it's probably a lot like you say, where when you tell your parents, I want to be an artist, they look at you and they say, ay, pobrecito, my poor baby, va a pasar
Yes.
hambre, you know.
Mm.
And there's a lot of people that try to be illustrators and all that good stuff, and they just never quite make it, you know.
Yes.
So it's not like if you, especially these days, if you tell your parents, I'm gonna go be a computer programmer, they say, oh,
Mm.
thank God he's going to make a living, right?
Mhm.
Or, for example, like in our schools, they're teaching kids how to be programmers, but they're not really teaching them anything about art,
Mm.
you know. And so a lot of our software looks really bad because
Mm.
people don't understand, you know, color theory and balance and you know, how to make the person's eye go from one part of the screen to the other part of the screen. There's a lot of creativity that could be used in even programming, you know.
Mm.
And so
Yes.
here in school, they take out art. They say, okay, um, we're gonna save money. Don't buy any more chalk. Don't buy any more pencils. Don't buy any more paper. None of that stuff.
Mm.
And so the kids don't get that, you know. And you see a lot of adults here that say, "Oh, I used to draw, but now I
Mm.
don't draw anymore." You know, whereas I can only imagine. I don't know, Jack. You've been to Italy, right? Like
No.
or France. You've been to France.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So like in France, I think they have more, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they have more passion for their artists, right?
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of generally accepted as part of the culture, even if you're not doing it professionally. Like everyone has some artistic desire or hobby, or you know, it's not, and it's not unusual for like several people to be living in a small flat because they're all starving artists. I mean, I wouldn't say that it's that much more lucrative or produces more money over there, but I think the people you know, the people appreciate it and understand it and respect it as a I don't know, maybe even as root level as like a human need or desire that's kind of understood that way.
Yeah.
Mm.
And in comparison, and you can go to New York and have you know, an apartment full of very successful business professionals that are barely
Right.
making ends
Yeah.
meet.
It's like Silicon Valley. Or
Oh, dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I was commuting down from Sonoma down there, like 3 or 4 days a week, I was looking to get an apartment and share an apartment, you know, like maybe 2 days a week or 3 days a week. You know, people were charging like
Really?
I think it was $1,500 to
Yep.
split the living room.
It's crazy up there.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so dumb. I said that's enough of that.
Yeah.
No, I'd rather buy a helicopter.
I mean, at that cost, you could.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, so we're looking at okuhouse.com and Ala Federico's. So basically what this is, he has a lot of illustrations and then he just kind of separated some of the more kid-friendly ones. Because I saw on the other site he had a watermelon that said I taste effing great, and I don't know how good that would look on a kid's book.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, his work is so good. Yeah, I'm telling you, I was looking on Behance the other day, and I you know, I've been following his work, and his work popped back up, and I was like, oh yeah, this guy. And I reached out, and now there he is. I'm like, yay! I love this. I love this podcast.
Thanks.
Do you do any animation at all?
And if I studied animation 2D, but in pencil.
Oh,
I
like
I
traditional.
do
Really?
some, yes, traditional, but I studied like 1 year, nothing else. But
Yeah.
I then I use Flash, but
Yes. Look
but
at that right
for me
there,
it's like
kid.
a lot
Look
of
at that.
work doing
Yeah.
animation,
Look
so I
at
prefer
that.
not doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how we do right there. Look at that. Flash in the can. The design
That shirt is
technology.
so old.
Right.
So
Like you
old.
showed it off. Like, is
I
it
swear to God, you wore that in college.
Yeah. Back in
Or
Flash.
maybe not that
Maybe.
old, but maybe not that. But
I'd have to look in the back to see what the date is, but yeah, this one's been
It's
around for a minute.
2002.
This one's been around for a minute. um,
Did Flash in the can?
huh?
Is that even still a thing?
Yeah, it's called the FITC now. They don't
Oh.
they don't really say Flash anymore, but they're still there.
Isn't that more motion now?
what does that stand for? I'm not gonna say it. Never mind.
Really?
Fucking, I'm through caring.
Like I'm
I
just
think
done.
I think I inverted some of the letters, but whatever, it still works.
It was pretty good.
They don't care.
That was
Just the way you
pretty
said
good.
it. Oh man.
So getting onto on the 2D animation
Yeah.
topic,
Yes.
Here we go.
Netflix decided that they are going to, well, they announced 6 new animated series.
They've really been busy.
Yeah.
What a
I
nasty-
am working on one of those.
Are you really?
I can finally talk about it since it's announced.
Oh,
Yes.
talk about it.
Well, I can't talk about it, but I can tell which one it is.
Okay, so I got a list of 6.
Yeah, let's play the guessing game.
Okay, cool.
So we have Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron. We have Spy Kids, which is my vote. Skylanders, which might actually be the one. Llama Llama, Hilda, and Big Mouth.
I'm gonna guess Spirit.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe
They're all basically, the first 5 are kids ones, and then Big Mouth is an adult cartoon.
I think Jack could be on a kids show. Although he could do the adult one, but it's probably the kids one. So the first 5 you said are kids?
Yeah.
What was that llama? Llama's like a kids one, right? Or is that
Yeah. Something tells me it might be about emus.
I'm missing this. Hold on. Missing the Spirit one.
Yeah.
Can we eliminate some?
Can we phone a friend?
Yeah, you can phone me.
Eliminate.
All right. He says Spirit. I say Spy Kids. Federico, pick a cartoon, any cartoon.
That he said.
Okay.
So what are the
Any
ones?
cartoon?
Give him a.
I don't know.
Jack is working on a cartoon. Which of these 6 is he working on? Spirit, Spy Kids, Skylanders, Llama Llama, Hilda, or Big Mouth?
Hilda.
Okay.
Hilda.
So we got.
I bet you he
That's
got it in a big way.
That's your final answer.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's our final
Which
answer.
ones are not it, Jack?
Huh?
Which ones are not it?
Okay, not Spy Kids.
Oh,
Damn
okay.
it.
Not Llama Llama.
Ah,
Damn it.
still in it.
Not Hilda.
Oh,
Ah.
I told you.
I
it
don't know
was
what the other
Skylanders.
ones that are remaining are besides the one I worked on.
There's Spirit, Skylanders, and Big Mouth.
It's Spirit.
Oh.
Yeah, Charlie won.
Yes.
Charlie Murphy. Charlie got it. Dang, dude. Charlie's been doing homework and stuff.
Yeah.
Either that or we need to go to Vegas.
Yeah. I'm happy. Cool, Jack. Well, congrats on that. Well, now that you can
That's pretty. That's a ooh, me without my sound effects.
Can you say anything
That's an
else?
exclusive right there.
Not really, just because they haven't really announced any details about it. But it's a spin-off of the feature, and it kind of focuses more on human characters that happen to have horses rather than being about a narrated horse.
Oh, okay.
What was the guy from the Matt Damon? Matt Damon did the voice in the movie, so these horses don't talk or even think. So.
You stop talking before you get in trouble, but because we can say Spirit Riding Free was is the cartoon, and it looks pretty cool, by the way. Inspired by the Oscar-nominated film Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron, Spirit Riding Free follows a heartfelt journey of a wild Mustang who could not be tamed.
Mm-hmm.
A whole new generation will experience all the daring adventures when Spirit meets a girl named Lucky. For the record, do not hang out with girls named Lucky.
See, I don't like this.
Chances are she's dirty. A girl named Lucky whose courage matches his own. Together they push limits, harness the power of friendship, and discover what it means to be free.
Wow.
With their best friends by their side, they explore a world filled with endless rides, magnificent horses, and never-ending fun. The series will premiere exclusively on Netflix in 2017 in U.S., Canada, Latin America. That's you, Argentina. UK, Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, the Nordics, Benelux.
That's you, Westeros.
And France. That's you. I don't know anyone in France.
That's you, King's Landing.
So yeah, there you go. Congratulations, kid. Your project has been announced.
It's coming.
It's there.
Yeah. Cool. I'm really excited for that. So should be good.
Speaking of heroes, Federico, who do you look up to? I look up to Jack. Jack is my hero. Jack is my hero.
It's only because I'm an inch taller than you.
That's true too. So, Federico, throughout your illustrative career, is there anyone that you look up to that you admire when you're as you're making your way through your career?
I like very much Marc Boutavan. Marc Boutavan.
Yeah.
It's a French illustrator.
Oh, there you go. By the way, he's going to be watching Jack's cartoon in 2017 because it's available in France.
I like Mark Ryden also. I like Tom Champ also. But yes, my favorite illustrators are from France.
What kind of style are those illustrators? What are they known for? If the people listening don't know of these people, we'll have these in the show notes to find their artwork too. Also, but kind of give a really brief explanation of like what's their style? Because it looks like it's heavily. Is it like it's heavily painted or like are they using paints? What is that?
I think yes that Mark Ryden. I think that he paints with óleos.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess.
Awesome.
Muy buena.
Yeah, that's really soft. I like it. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. We'll link out to them.
Yeah. Cool. Jack, who do you look up to?
Oh, I've always been a fan of like Edward Gorey. I love me some Dr. Seuss. I like the Bill Watterson. In terms of, I love James Jean as like a contemporary artist. I can't stop looking at that stuff, though I would never ever be able to do it. It's like one of those ones that's like so different from my style, and yet it totally inspires me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Carlito, your turn.
Ready to go.
Who do I look up to? God, that's a good question. Because I'm almost art ADD. Because I take a look at contemporary folks or the modern folks like Federico and stuff like that.
Nice.
And I'm dead serious when I say that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's the cool thing about being on the show is when I see someone that inspires me, I reach out to them and I get to talk to them. That's one of the coolest parts of this show. But then, like I go way back. I really like the Impressionists. I like everything, not everything, but I like a lot of the masters. I like to take a look at how their art changes throughout the years, because now that they're done, right, you can look at how they started and you can look at how they ended.
Right.
Why can't I'm blanking on his name right now? Dude was in Europe and then he went to Africa. He started Cubism.
Picasso?
Oh.
Yeah, was it Picasso? Like him, he started very traditional, and then he went, and his style changed so drastically, so quickly, and I was always just like, whoa, that's neat. So like people drawing and all that stuff, everyone who creates some sort of art is really neat, but for me, I like the path, if that makes sense. And I'm not trying to be all wishy-washy, but I enjoy the path more. And I enjoy seeing how they learn. I enjoy how external influences change their path as well. So like the Impressionists, they all, they were bomb artists. They were painting and stuff, and they were trying to get their work in this museum. The museum kept saying no, so they said screw it. They started their own museum. You know what I mean? Like that's amazing. Like I love people who just don't quit. Yeah, anyway, so there. I was going to ask you guys, speaking of looking up to illustrators and finding your hero, what are all your stances on fan art? Do you think it's a waste of time? Do you think it's really good? Federico, do you know when I say fan art? Do you know what that means?
Fan art. You mean like? No, I don't know.
It would be like.
No, I mean, yes.
Fan art would be like when I see your work, I want to draw something kind of like you. I would take your characters and kind of draw them almost in my style, right? So that's fan art.
But what was the question?
The question is, do you think that's a good idea to do, or is it a waste of time to do?
No, I don't know. I don't think it's a waste of time, but I never wanted to copy another style, or actually when I start working, I didn't want to see other works because I didn't want to copy a style in some way. I was kind of afraid about that.
Yeah.
But then I thought that, I mean, looking at other people work, is inspiring and it helps you a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But fan art, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
It's
No
okay.
quiero decir nada malo.
He doesn't want to say anything bad.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
Well, let me give you an example. So I'm working on an animation, right? And I'll when it's done, I'll just show you guys and stuff. Um, but I was looking, and I had, like just like a dot for eyes. And then I started doing research on Federico, and I saw his eyes, and they're really cool because they break up into basically 1, 2, 3, 4 parts of the eye, right? So you have the whites of the eyes, and then you have the pupils, or the pupils, and then you have the top part that's colored a little darker because it looks like the eyelashes, and then the bottom part that's the bottom of the eye, right? So I completely changed the eyes on my. It's a wine bottle. Right? So I was like, these eyes are cool. So I completely changed my eyes. Thank you, Federico. It looks way cute. And it adds a lot more personality. So that would be considered stealing, but.
No. But in that case, we all steal because we all
Yeah.
but we see others works and we well in my case I try to use the things that I most like from different artists,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mhm.
not copying all because that will be illegal.
Right. What do you guys think about fan art and all that
You
stuff?
know, I go back and forth. Just from going to the, comic book conventions, my inspirations come a little bit rooted in comic books, but besides the masters and stuff like that. But I've noticed this over the years, and we've always had this conversation, usually around Comic Con season, because you have a lot of artists and you have a lot of friends of artists that do this also that do a lot of fan art, or you go to your local comic convention, and a favorite artist might do Batman really, really cool, or some other like form of animation in a different way that you never really thought about. And it's like really, really cool, and to the point where it's like a piece of artwork. That's kind of cool. I've had a lot of artists like kind of turn different characters on their head, so to speak, and do really cool pieces with them. Now, obviously, you know, um, they didn't create the original characters. Say it'd be like Superman or Wolverine or something like that. But if they drew them in a weird way, or drew them in a cool way, that's kind of cool when they use their own style. But then you have the other side of that, where you have people who draw them, one to one. It looks just like it, but it still looks cool. Maybe it's different pose or something like that. I think fan art can be good for those things. Where it gets a little weird for me is when people are selling those pieces, even if it's in their own style, because then that's a little, to me, that's a little, that's that like gray area, And I have a lot of artist buddies that do it, so like I'm not condemning anybody, because I think it's cool. Like I said, I've fallen the victim in a Comic Con where I come across an artist that I've never heard of, and it's just that Supergirl that they did is just really, really cool. It's like punk rock or something crazy, and it's like a really cool style. You want to support that artist because he did a good job. Or graffiti artists, turn comic book artists, they were doing that a lot in the like late '90s, early 2000s, when that style kind of infused. Scotty Young and all these other guys had like these different takes that Marvel picked them up. Because their styles were so unique. That's cool to me. But when you get like just local junior or local artist alley guy that's not working for one of the major companies, it's kind of a weird loophole. If you create a character, people can still just redraw it, and if they do a good job, can get paid off of it. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. It's always been a gray area. It's kind of been a little weird to me. You know.
there's yeah, especially Comic Cons and stuff. There has been a really big concern, I guess, is the way to say it, because there are a lot of people, a lot of artists that will take and draw a Batman, or they'll draw a Superman or whoever.
Or even take other artist style, like other comic artist style, like in late 90s.
You can't really copyright style.
I mean, but like say like you got like a J. Scott Campbell that's known for drawing, girls in a certain way, like the Danger Girl series and stuff, the comic book stuff, or you got a Joe Mad that's known for drawing a certain way. They have that look, and so many comic book artists sometimes are just kind of clones of the biggest artists in that industry, the Jim Lees and the the Campbells and the Scotty Youngs. To me, that's like they're drawing fan art. You could tell like that dude has figured out how to draw those eyes a perfect way. He's figured out how to draw the nose that J. Scott uses, and like that pin-up comic book style is like recognizable. That's what it looks like, and that's why people buy their work. It's not really venturing into like something they've created themselves. And this, like I said, this is where it gets into a gray area. And maybe you guys can chime in about that's kind of weird, because I can definitely be a comic book fan and a collector. I can say, yo, this is just like this. I can show you like cover art, from this issue of this X-Men, whatever, where Storm looked like this and the facial features look like this. It's just in this case, they took that facial style and those drawings the way it's drawn, and they put it on, Wonder Woman, and he drew it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, look at what everyone is.
Where'd that draw the line?
I'm going to make this point real quick, and then Jack, you can take over. Look at what everyone was doing with anime. Everyone had the same eyes. Everyone had the same round head. And for me, if I could draw that good or that way, fine. But then what ends up happening is you, as an artist, are competing against the guy who you're copying for work. And do you want to be known as Baby Joe Mad?
Some people do. It's weird. Like, and even with anime.
Yeah, and some people do. And you know what? That's good for Joe Mad, because then that way he can go and he can pick all the work that he wants to do, and he leaves the scraps to everyone else. Like you can't. If you're going to get mad at artists for doing that, then you have to get mad at automobile companies for always stealing off of each other. Then you have to get mad at computer companies. Jack, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, in general, I don't get the fan art craze. I'm kind of in the same camp as Charlie. It really especially bothers me that people kind of make entire livings off of it. I mean, you go to some of these comic book conventions and the entire table is just fan art. But I mean, you can't really blame the artists because the fans eat it up. They absolutely love this stuff. But my defense of fan art in general, I mean, profits aside and making a business out of it, the cool thing about fan art is it kind of echoes like what the whole open source community does. Is it really kind of builds on the universe and it builds on the mythologies of stuff, and it spawns new ideas into what was previously a commercial product, right? Fan art is kind of the unbastardized, totally free, work of passion. It's pure creativity, which, I mean, you kind of have to respect that. These people are doing this and creating this artwork because they love this. There's no money involved. There's no client telling you have to do this because this makes money. It's purely coming from a creative. That's like straight vision, and that's like a pretty cool thing. But I mean, part of me is like, why wouldn't you just channel that energy into something original or something you created? So, I mean, as much as I can go on about how awesome that is, it's kind of also like, well, just put that energy somewhere else.
And it's been around for a while too, right, Jack? Like, that's like, think about back, like Carlos, Jack, like, Federico, like when you're younger and people realize you can draw, right? What is the first thing they say?
Yeah, they're like, ooh, draw me Mickey Mouse. Draw me,
No, draw me. You can stop there.
Draw me.
Draw me. Like, yeah.
Draw me.
Mouse. It was like funny. And like,
but that's like a legitimate request.
Yeah.
If you went to Joe Mad and were like, draw me, that'd be awesome. That's not fan art.
Yeah, that's cool, and people do that.
Museum
Draw
piece.
me in your style, or like what some art students do, or whatever. Like, because that's another part of like, like in Artist Alley at the conventions that artists do. They like have commissions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I love when somebody brings in their work and say, "Could you draw my character in your style?" I love those requests, and then some people eat that up, rather than like, hey, draw me this, Wolverine for me because I love the way you draw it in your style. That's kind of cool, but like at the same time, you can't get around that. Like you said, fans eat it up. If somebody's willing to pay you, I've seen upwards of $100 as some comic book artists go for them to draw them Storm in their own sketchbook. I mean, I've done it coming back. Like I have a sketchbook, hardbound, from each year of a con that I've been to, where I try to fill that sketchbook up with other artists' drawings. And usually I have them say, please just draw something that's cool, that you like, rather than request something, because I always felt that was kind of weird, and I like that part of it. But
Sure.
I just go back and forth in terms of now that's because I feel like I see it now. It's blatant where people use that commission work for them to they get them to come to their table and buy their work that they've created. This is how I feel like back in like 2000, 2001, 99, like at these comic conventions when I first started going. And now it's turned to like the booths have gotten bigger behind the people, but it's like literally whole sections of like art inspired of whatever. If this year they're doing all the X-Men in different forms, then that's it. If next year they're doing a salute to, a certain artist, they're doing it, but they're trying to say it's in my style and it's okay. So I don't know.
A friend of the show, Jason Fleck, just said, "I love Mickey." So we'll draw a picture of
Mickey.
Just
But like, let's reverse the question, and like for Federico and everyone else, like if someone's like, or not someone, like if a whole group of people started drawing your work, like what would you think of that? And whether or not they're charging or not, but just like how would that emotionally make you feel? Like what would the benefits or cons be? Like kind of like, you know what I mean? Like if you're the product creator and suddenly there's a bunch of folks copying you,
it's all over Instagram.
I mean,
yeah.
What's that?
I don't know. I never thought about that. So
when I told you I changed the eyes on my wine bottle to look like the eyes on your characters, what did that make you feel?
No, I mean I also do that. Sometimes I see how an illustrator resolves a nose or a mouth or a hand, and I like it, so I not copy that. Yes, I tried to get inspired.
You even have trouble saying it, but yeah, that's exactly, yeah, that's good. Okay.
All right, let me go because it's actually happened a couple of times where there's a couple people that has actually taken the robots, Rob the robot and Chupi the Chupacabra, and they actually drew. One guy drew them, and then another guy actually started building them. Actually, Matthew Masterson. He's a phenomenal illustrator, and I still have. I'm flabbergasted as to why he's not been on this show. So we're coming after you, Matt. But he started sculpting. I think was it Chupi or Rob? I think he started sculpting Rob in ZBrush. And I'm not gonna lie, I was excited, number one, because someone actually took the time to take a look at my comic strip, and number two, I was thinking, Jesus, finally.
Really?
Finally, someone started wanting to draw my stuff. I was like, holy crap, I've been doing this for how many years? And now finally someone, 200 some odd comic strips in.
It's hard. That would be a hard one to translate, kind of, at times.
Yeah, and I
It's
know
a
that,
3D.
and that's it. Right, and I know that it is, and I mean, yeah,
That's
so
cool,
that's a
though.
whole thing. But yeah, like it was for me, it was exciting to have someone do that. For me, I try to copy other people's stuff and not release it. I'm not going to release my artwork that looks exactly like yours, and try to get the love and the accolades from that. I will say I drew this based off of that guy. Please go take a look at that guy's stuff.
Mhm.
I will do that, and I do that just because as an artist, you're going to draw a circle the same way hundreds and thousands of times, right? Or you're
Mhm.
going to draw that shape, or you're going to draw a head with the eyes, and everything is going to fall into place all the time. To break out of that, draw someone else's stuff.
Mhm.
And that way your hand gets out of doing the same shapes in the same pattern all the time. Um, but give credit where credit is due.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's all I'm gonna say.
Mm.
Jack, has anyone ever copied your stuff or drawn? I know I've
Not,
drawn.
not
I've
that I
I've
know of.
I've tried to draw in your style. I
It's
did
hard.
that gangster, or I did that mobster dog once, way back in the day.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, that was different. I was like soliciting other artists to like join in, but
Yeah.
I
I
don't
fixed
know.
that. He's like, okay, that's enough.
I don't know of anyone actually trying to mimic it or being inspired by it, but I have come across a couple of situations where people have just blatantly ripped it off and like
Yeah.
use it in their own thing or claimed it's theirs, and that's infuriating. But I think if somebody was like mimicking it or like, look, I tried to do it like this guy, I think that would be kind of cool.
It'd be flattering. Yeah.
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 Mm.
Yeah.
And I don't think
So
I think
so
that's
all of that stuff, and we're saying don't go out there and make a living off of fan art and all that stuff. Cartoon Network has figured out a way to make money from fan art.
Oh boy.
Are you
So
serious?
yeah. This is
About the
dead
best
serious.
segment segue in you've ever done. Because I was surprised. Yeah. Yep.
Way to point it out, Chuck. Thanks.
Hey, it was beautiful.
So the Cartoon Network has the Cartoon Network Collective, and basically what it is you can do fan art of their stuff,
Oh.
and okay, let's see. I'm gonna read from here. One of the areas where animation producers haven't yet figured out how to profit is from fan art, which is all the unofficial artwork made by fans that is shared online or sold as prints. Cartoon Network today announced a new initiative that makes them the first major company to address the situation. They're creating a Cartoon Network shop. It's a collaboration between Cartoon Network Enterprises and licensees and newly formed Horizon Line Studios. So yeah, I guess it might be a lot like kind of like Society 6 and stuff, where if you create your own artwork, you can submit it and then they'll sell it for you.
Good piece of
Maybe
advice.
take a cut.
And I'm sure they'll push this on all throughout Cartoon Network and try to make that hub its own community in itself, probably. Also,
Yeah.
that place online, I mean, being able to share your work, and that's kind
And
of
it
cool.
looks like they will they'll announce characters that they're accepting artwork for. So for June, it's Jason Jameson. So they have 3 characters from Adventure Time. They have a couple from Steven Universe. We Bear Bears. Clarence Regular Show, Over the Garden Wall, and Dexter's Laboratory. So
They're not doing after Adult Swim any Adult Swim.
Could you imagine? So yeah, they probably will, but it seems like it might be like a combination of, say, Threadless, the
Yeah.
T-shirt company, and what is that? Sketch dailies, where they announce
Yeah.
the subject and then you draw them.
I wonder what the penalties are, or like the restrictions.
Yeah, I'll do more research because they just announced it, and I don't know if they're live yet. Um, but yeah, there you have it.
That's cool.
Fan art makers, get there. Go make that money. Speaking of making money as artists and stuff, Federico, I know you have a Society 6 store.
What? Sex store?
A Society 6 store?
Ah,
He's like, what do
yeah,
you mean?
but no, no,
He's like,
no.
oh, thank you for telling me.
Yes, but no, I have nothing there.
No. Well, you have a few things, and now that I know
Actually,
that, go ahead.
no, no. Then I closed one because I saw one of my illustration they stole and they sell it like a bag.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm sorry
So
about
because
that. That was me.
in that websites you have to upload in high resolution, so
they right click and they're saving. Yeah.
it's easy for someone to steal your work,
That sucks.
I
I
guess.
never even thought about that.
Quick
Yes.
fall.
Jack, you have a Society 6 store too, don't you?
Yeah, I don't really maintain it, and I don't get that much traffic. It's one of those things that from the people I've heard that do well on there, it's kind of dominated by like a handful of artists that just do well, and everybody else is completely invisible.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware. I know that they require high res art for the printing, but I wasn't aware that you can actually access it or view it on the artist page. That's probably something I should look into.
Yes.
Someone else got your stuff. Yet again, I'm
Got big
sorry
huge
I
prints
stole
of
your
Jack's
stuff.
stuff in his son's room. Like, this is great. Found it for free. Paid $5. Fucking.
It's so funny. So yeah, we're always trying to find new ways for artists to make a living. And obviously, we've already talked about Kickstarter. We've talked about Society 6 and how easy it is to make money, but then how easy it is to get ripped off.
Yeah.
Do you guys, Federico, do you guys have Patreon down there?
What?
No, Patreon. No. Okay, so
Nope.
yet another money-making opportunity. If you want to start a Patreon page, we will start it for you. And we will send you 15% of this
Wait,
relationship. Dude, this relationship. Every time I come up with an idea, I'm doing
Here it
more and
is.
more
What is
work.
Patreon? Or Patreon, no sé.
Patreon. I'll share the links with you later if you like. But
Okay.
what it is, it's a little bit like Kickstarter, but instead of you having one project, Kickstarter is you have one project and you get a lot of money to finish that a lot of money. You get some money to finish that project. Where Patreon, people are giving you money, but it's not. It's like a little bit of money per month,
Yeah.
and it's every month you get money, right? So people want you to create, and
Yeah.
if they like what you're doing, they give you money. So then that way you have enough money to continue to do the work that they like, right?
Right.
And
But
then go ahead.
the idea is yours or is
Yeah.
from
So for example, I have a comic strip. We have this podcast. I have whatever else people want to see me do. So if they want to see me doing it, they can give me a little bit of money, and then I'll continue to do it. I still own the rights. I still own all the work and everything. I let them in on part of the process, right? So, for example, if I'm drawing my comic strip and people like it, they can give me money to do it. And then what I would do is maybe, I don't know, some of the things that people are doing now is they do like a video update every week, and then they give people video updates, and this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm doing it, la la la. Some people do hangouts where, you know, if you like my work, you want to watch me draw, I'll invite you and whoever else is giving me that much money, they get to come and watch me draw, and we get to interact and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of really cool things that are possible. Is just another way for an artist to make money to be able to continue making art.
Cool. So bueno.
Yeah, it is really good.
Sí.
It's a really cool thing. They actually had a big, I don't have a Patreon page, but they had a big meeting today. They were announcing a lot of new features for Patreon, but their audio was really bad, so I quit. So then I quit.
Yeah, they've been doing really, really good, and the site's been steady growing and stuff like that, and the back end's been getting a lot better. But it's kind of cool because it's got to the point where people who are on it are like basically can be sustained financially just from their residual Patreon. What would you call them? Subscribers each month. You know, the tune in, especially the big artists that like have big followings. They can get a good, 200, 300, 400 people that all around the first of the month will send in $10 to $15. That's people have been able to quit their jobs and do it full time. I think it's really, really cool. So yeah, it's really great thing.
I had we talked about that.
You had what you got?
I think it might be time for this or that.
Is it?
I think so. Do we have the audio?
We don't, because Google's being...
Dagnabbit, Google. Federico's like, what the hell is going on? Federico. This or that. So this is a game that we play. And I'm going to say two things, and I need you to pick one or the other, whichever you like better. And then if you feel like you need to defend your stance, then you can defend it, right? I only have a couple, or a few. So, this or that. Would you rather draw with a pencil and paper, or would you like to use a Wacom tablet?
Me?
Yes.
I prefer a Wacom.
Yeah, nice.
Yes, with vectors.
Do you have, like, when you're working with your, when you're working in Illustrator, do you have a tablet?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Cool. With that said, Wacom tablet or a mouse?
No, mouse, no.
No mouse. Okay, he's about to come at me, bro.
No mouse.
Okay. This or that. Do you prefer... Well, you already answered this. Photoshop or Illustrator?
Illustrator.
Yeah. Do you prefer making
But just
art?
because I don't know how to use Photoshop too much. I mean, I use Corel Painter, but because I like the interface.
Yeah, who else uses... I think DaCosta uses Corel.
Does he?
Yeah. He's got some good things happening too. We're gonna have to have him back on the show pretty soon. Federico, do you prefer Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix. Yeah.
Attaboy. And you know why? Because Netflix has 6 new cartoons coming out, one of which our friend Jack is working on.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
That's you back there. You know that one guy's not here this week. He gets excited.
I know, he must be sick.
Yeah.
He got escorted out by security. He's way too excited.
He's like, you, not this week. You, follow me this way.
Federico, would you rather make artwork for kids' books or games?
Kids' books.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of tired about games.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I mean I never was the kind of guy who is all the time playing games. Actually, but I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I mean
It's okay.
I'm
You can talk bad about people on this show. It's
You can have opinions.
Yeah.
No.
So basically, you're saying that gamers are fat and a little bit dumb.
No.
Dang,
I'm not
you didn't go
saying
there.
that. No.
I'm kidding.
No, I'm not saying that.
So you got tired of working in games?
No, I like games, but I prefer working for children's in books or other stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. When I was doing research on you, I did know that you're working in children's books, and I also know that you're working in gaming and stuff like that. But I found out that you were doing work with a art representative, advocate art.
Yes, but they called me this year in March.
Yeah.
So it's very recently.
Oh, okay. Has it so they found you and they reached out to you and they're like, hey, we really like your work. Kind of like me. We really like your work. We want you to work with us.
Yes.
Yeah. Have they given you any work at all?
Yes, I did one work for a teenager magazine, some illustrations, and right now I'm working in a children's books. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Sí.
Cool. Yeah, because we talk to a lot of artists that sometimes they have an agent, and
Yes.
sometimes they just do freelance work. So it's interesting to see that you're actually working with an agent and that you're actually busy.
Yes. Yes, I never worked with an agent, so I didn't know how it was.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I like it. I mean,
So how does that work? Do they say, hey, we have this project, are you interested? Or do they say, we have this project, you have to do it?
no, they present my my illustrations, my work to different editorials,
Yeah.
and of course others illustrators. So they choose which illustrator to work with. So and they ask me if I'm interested in working in that project.
Oh.
Cool. And it's worked out pretty good.
Yes, I'm very happy working for them.
That's very cool. I also saw your name on Red 8.
Red Red. It's another agency.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can work for 2 different agencies at the same time?
Well, the thing is, they call me last
Wait,
like.
don't say anything
I don't
if
know
you're
if-
going to get in trouble.
No, it's okay. No problem. No, they call me like they call also a friend of mine from here, and but they never send me anything. So,
Wow.
so I don't know
Yeah.
how they work. I mean, they
Well,
call me
apparently
like
they don't
1 or 2 years
work
ago. I don't know.
Yeah.
that good. Yeah,
Pero,
it's always interesting to see because there's some guys that are, or some people that I know work with agents, and they're like, "Oh, it's fantastic," and then other people are just like, "Nope, not worth it. I can't. I don't
Never
make
again.
enough."
mm.
So it's interesting. It's interesting. What is there? Do you guys have a stance at all on that? Have you guys had experience working with an agent at all?
I
I've
haven't.
never,
I haven't.
I've
No.
never used an agent. I was in contact with one for a while, and I know quite a lot of people who have, and I know they have them not just in illustration, but even in animation and like visual effects. And I guess if maybe it just has to do with your personality. It's like if you're not really like a social person or like a go-getter, and you just want somebody to do that part for you, I guess it's worth paying money.
Yeah.
Or if you have no contacts at all, I think obviously it's worth it. But I think a lot of freelancers get used to the hustle and get used to getting stuff themselves. And if you're good enough, people are also reaching out to you, so you don't have to.
That's true.
Very true.
But I can see the benefit of it. But I don't. I think they all vary, and it's just whether or not that cost they take, the cut, is worth it, I guess.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, and imagine being a go-getter, and then this would just basically be, I guess, another. Oh, I don't want to. I was going to say another bullet in the chamber, but too much violence out there already. This would be another knife in the drawer.
Match in the ring. Oh gosh.
Another screwdriver in your toolbox, I guess, would be a safer than another hammer or something. I don't know. Everything is violent these days. But it's another approach. So if you're out there hustling, getting work for yourself, but then you also have a team of agents out there working for you, it might work out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, you get to.
Go ahead.
All I was going to say is, Federico, do you get to work from home?
Yes, I work from home. I mean, I work freelance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Porque me quería preguntar otra cosa.
No, está bien. You're fine.
Okay. Yes, well, for example, when I didn't have this agent, and I wasn't working because some periods of times sometimes, well, of course they don't call you. So in that period of time, I used to work in personal projects. And sometimes they call me because those projects. So, but I feel like working freelance. You need to be working all the time, like doing your own promotion and maybe participando en concursos, in competitions, or and when you work maybe in a company, you are you don't have to. Maybe I'm saying cualquier cosa.
No, you're fine.
But
Está bien.
yes. Pues. I mean, you are your own boss, so you need to move.
Right.
Take initiative.
Right.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
definitely not for everyone. If you are, you have to be on your game 24/7. Otherwise, you don't work. If you don't work, you don't eat. And I think the important thing that Federico was touching on, he gets to work from home. He's a freelance illustrator, obviously. And when he wasn't working, he took it upon himself to continue to create artwork. So his his wheels never stopped rolling. And through creating his own projects, those projects then were up for people to see, and then when people saw them, it created more work for him. So,
I mean, I also do my work because for me and to show people, but to express ideas, not just to get more clients.
Right.
And I don't, when I work in my own stuff, I don't think I'm gonna do this because I want to impress someone or I want to
Right.
make money, or I don't think that way.
Okay.
we do it for the love, not necessarily for the money.
But yeah.
Oh, Argentinians are so passionate. Latin America.
No.
That's all I got, guys. We're getting close to the end of the show. Do we have any more questions for Federico?
I'm good. John?
Yeah, I'm good.
Cool. Federico, do you have any questions for us?
No, I wanna thank you for the invitation, and I think that it's really awesome that you have your own show and that you, o sea, me parece, I'm going to speak in Spanish, que me parece muy bueno que haya un espacio así para conocer diferentes dibujantes y otros artistas también.
Yeah, exacto. So he said.
Bam! I understood that.
Yeah, he said
Yes.
it's a perfect way to meet other illustrators and artists and stuff, and to be able to talk shop and connect.
Yeah, thanks for being on. Yes.
Yeah, gracias.
Thank you.
Thanks.
No.
Thank you for coming on and taking time out of your, because it's 10 o'clock here, 11, 12, 1 o'clock there. Ooh,
Oh, wow.
it's a good thing you're your own boss.
Yeah.
Overtime. Charge overtime.
Write yourself a note in the morning, sleeping.
Do you give yourself sick days?
What? Sorry.
Do you give yourself sick days?
What is that?
Día cuando estás enfermo.
Yes, of course. Sí. No, estoy enfermo.
Va a necesitar uno mañana.
No. No, I hear people go to sleep late.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
My time.
Very nice.
But not all the people, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
No,
If people want to see your work online, where can they find it?
well, in Behance or in my website.
The website and Behance.
Yes. Nothing else.
Yes, that's it. So his website is
FedericoBonifacini.com.
Yeah, and we'll have that on the show notes.
Mm-hmm.
And then just to be thorough, Okuhouse, OKUHOUSE.com.
Yes.
Go check out his children's illustrations, which are absolutely delightful.
Bananas.
Yeah,
Thanks.
they're really
Thank you
good.
so much. Muchas gracias.
And Charlie, if people are looking for you online, where can they find you?
Well, Carlos, they can find me at cargocollective.com/Charlie B. Williams. My website. Check out my work. You can find me on Facebook, facebook.com/CharlieBW3. Twitter is twitter.com. Go over and see CBW3. Instagram is CharlieBW3 again. Check me out. Send me a message, and let's chat.
And Jack, if people are looking for you.
Sketchbookjack.com and Sketchbookjack, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram. I should be much better at that by now.
Yeah, huh?
I always have to think about it.
I,
So is
I,
it
I have
trails
my,
off
I have
of
my
the-
cheat sheet. Otherwise, I would be tripping up every week. Every week I say, I am Carlos Gomez. You can find me at carlosrgomez.com. You can find me under the name Coconut Justice on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and, of course, Behance, because that's where I found Federico. And you can see all kinds of people's really cool work and go find him there. Federico, what's your Behance name? Is it Federico?
I don't know, creo que Federico Bonifacini. I don't remember. A ver.
Okay.
Sí,
I think I
Federico
have-
Bonifacini.behance.net.
There you go.
There it is.
And it works even if you speak English.
Mm-hmm.
This has been the Sketch Zone podcast. You can find us at sketch.zone. And if you want to suggest a guest, go to sketch.zone/guest. You can find us on Twitter at sketchzone. You can go to facebook.com/thesketchzone. Go to youtube.com/sketchzonepodcast. And while I'm talking about that, we
Yes.
had YouTube. I was begging you last week. We had the producer of that music on last week, and he wanted to play it, and we played it, and you still slapped the copyright stuff on there. But I fought it because fight the power. Fight the powers that be. They supposedly lifted the copyright, and we should have access to that. So if you're listening on iTunes and you missed last week's episode, that's why, because YouTube is sniffing poo right now.
Well, great. Now this episode's going to be blackballed.
Yeah. How about now? You can also find us on Stitcher, SoundCloud, and, as I said earlier, iTunes. And if you're on iTunes and leave us a comment, we'll go ahead and read it on the air.
Good old iTunes.
And if you leave us, some URLs and stuff like that, we'll probably read that too. I don't know. I know people. So that's it for us. Everyone have a good week.